Hi, I'm Heyzeus, and this video is about low float operation skins. I'm making it at the moment because the operation has just ended, so it means that the prices of a lot of these skins are at the end of the year. They're only going to go up from here, so it's a good time to buy, invest, trade up, do things like that. We're specifically going to look at the Cobblestone Collection, the Gods and Monsters Collection, and the Overpass Collection. There are other skins I could have included, but it's just a matter of keeping the video to a certain length, and these collections have some similarities which we can look at as well. To be even more specific, we're going to be looking at the restricted skins in these collections. So we're going to be looking at the Icarus Fell, the Kronos, the Hand Cannon, the Chalice, the Road Rash, and the Orb Pink DD Pat. So basically with these contracts, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the float value down to about 0.01, and we're also trying to exploit the way the trade-up contract works to allow us to run the trade-up at a profit. The key to doing this is this ugly piece of trash, the SSG Acid Fade. Now, it might look like garbage, but it's actually a beautiful, beautiful skin because its float range caps out at 0.03. So it ends less than half of the way through the factory new float range. Now, I'm sure at this point a lot of people can already see why this is great, and I'm sure there's people watching that already know about this skin. But the reason this is so great if you're doing trade-ups is because it means it's really, really easy to get acid fades with a float of less than 0.01, which is going to be absolutely essential for what we're doing. But it doesn't answer the question though about why we can't just use 10 low float mil-spec skins from the operation collections instead. So I'll demonstrate using the Chalice as an example. Suppose you want a 0.001 float Chalice skin. With a little bit of patience, you'll probably be able to get your hands on one for about 16 keys or about $40 in Steam Market funds, and that works out to be about $29 on OP skins where you're actually most likely to buy it. Alternatively, you can do a trade up with 10 chainmails or dark ages with an average float of 0.01, provided you don't get a hand cannon. That will give you a 0.001 chalice. Now that's not actually very difficult to do, because if you use 10 Nova Green Apples or Mag 7 Silvers to trade up for the dark ages and chainmails, you'll typically get a skin with a float of about 0.01 or even less. This would cost you about $4 a skin, by the way. There's actually no difference between trading up for a chainmail or a dark age or buying one with a buy order off the market. On the other hand though, what would happen if we grabbed a bunch of acid fades with floats of less than 0.01 and a couple of low float chainmails or chalices and threw them into a contract and kept doing them until we got a cobblestone skin? This would obviously be a lot cheaper, but it'd also be a lot riskier. If you only had 2 cobblestone inputs, you'd only get a cobblestone output 1/3 of the time, even though we're taking advantage of the fact that the Cobblestone Collection has more restricted skins than the Safe House Collection, so we've got an increased chance of getting a cobblestone skin out of this trade-up. Nonetheless, assuming we're reselling any acid fades we get, you'll end up paying a long-run average of about $28 for every cobblestone skin you get, which is $12 cheaper than just using 10 cobblestone skins. Now, obviously this involves risk, because there's a 1/3 chance of getting a cobblestone skin every single trade up you do. There's no rule that says you can't fail 6 or 10 in a row. It can happen. I've seen it happen. But on the other hand, you might get 3 in a row that work. So as long as you're willing to take that risk, statistically you're going to make money. The odds are in your favor. Now, the other thing that needs to be addressed is why I've gone for a 2:8 ratio when it comes to cobblestone skins versus acid fades. Now the reason for that is this graph. This graph charts the total number of mil-spec cobble skins used in the trade-up, as opposed to the cost per cobble skin received as a long-term statistical average. And as you can see, it's at its lowest when you use 2 skins. Now, we can apply this same principle to the Overpass and Gods and Monsters collection. So if we look at the Gods and Monsters chart, this is trading up for Icarus Fells and Kronoses using Pandora's Boxes and Minotaur's Labyrinths, which are both $5 each. It's a little bit more expensive than the Cobblestone Collection. You can see that it's also optimal to use only 2 mil-spec skins in the trade-up. The Overpass Collection, on the other hand, is a little bit different. As you can see, it sort of flatlines at around 5 mil-spec Overpass skins. This is using SSG Detours and XM1014 Varicama Blues to get Road Rashes or Pink DD Pads, by the way. Now the reason for this is that the blue Overpass skins are just really, really cheap. They're like $1.20 each in factory new conditions, so that's why it has that curve. However, despite that, I'd still recommend doing it with only 2 Overpass skins. And the reason for that is simply that it's quite hard to get mil-spec factory new Overpass skins that have a low enough flow to do this contract. So I'd still recommend sticking with 2, even though it's not quite as optimal. So, throwing all this together, what I'm actually recommending? Well, what I'm recommending are trade-ups with 2 skins from any of these collections, the Cobblestone Collection, the Overpass Collection, the Gods and Monsters Collection. You got the Dark Age, the Chainmail, the Minotaur's Labyrinth, and the Pandora's Box, the XM1014 Very Camo, and the SSG Detour, and 8 SSG Acid Fades, which are about 36 cents each. The average float needs to be below 0.0135 as an absolute maximum. The reason is to get a factory new M4 Nitro, which is the sort of the rip option with the Acid Fade. The float needs to be at least that low, just because of the way its float spread works. And that is fairly important, because you'll be getting quite a few of them, and you want to get as much back as possible to maximize your margins. And also, if you're doing the Overpass Collection, the Orc Pink DD Pat has exactly the same float range, so you also need it to be below that float in order to get a factory new one of those, and the trade-up isn't profitable, really, unless you make sure it's factory new. But preferably, you want to have these trade-ups with an average float of less than 0.01, just to make sure you get as low a float as possible in any of the collection skins you get, which is how you make money. From this, you'll have a 2 out of 3 chance of getting an M4A1S Nitro, which will be about $2.14 after sale price, provided you get the float right and make sure it's factory new. And you'll have a 1 in 3 chance of getting a factory new Operation skin. Now, I've included the floats you should be looking for, but not the prices, and the reason is it's just a little bit harder to get a precise price if it's got quite a low float. So what I can assure you is that you will get overpay on most of these, except for the Road Rash. I don't think you're likely to get too much overpay on that, but the rest of them you should be able to get a nice little overpay. That does mean though that you're probably best off selling them on OP skins, or getting rid of them either through directly trading with somebody, or potentially through a trading site like CS Money that gives you a premium for low float skins. And on that outlier, the Orc Pink DD Pat, which doesn't have a low float because of its float range and how that works with the trade-up contract, you'll make it sells for about 6 times the value of the skins you put into that contract. So no need to worry about it. If you get that, you'll be grinning. So that more or less wraps up this section of the video. And now it's time for me to put my money where my mouth is and do some of these. So I'll see you guys in CSGO Exchange. So here we are in CSGO Exchange. I've gotten a little bit carried away setting these up. So the first thing I've done is, I mentioned earlier that it's hard to get low floats Overpass skins. In this case, I've gone for the Very Camo because they're a bit cheaper than the Detour. That's a tip, by the way. The Detours are more expensive than the price I listed in the video. So I was having trouble getting in below about 0.045. So what I've done is I've combined the Overpass and Cobblestone trade-ups, which you can do. You can totally mix and match collection skins for these trade-ups. It will lead to some, I guess, sort of weird spreads in terms of what you get as outcomes, but it won't fundamentally make it any more or less profitable. So, as you can see, I've got this set up so it's 001 for the Chalice, that's factory new, that's 0.01, that's 0.017, that's comfortably factory new. Ignore the odds given here, CSGO Exchange doesn't know how they work. Now I've got, I think, 5 of these set up. I'll just quickly count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. And then I've got 3 Gods and Monsters ones down here. I think they're a bit more exciting, so I've left them to last. These ones, I think I've got them. Yep, so that's a 000 float. Icarus fell. So the Cronus is nice and low. So this should be fairly exciting. Hopefully I'll get at least 1 or 2 cool skins. I could rip all of these. It'd be very, very, very sad. And I'm making this about 24 hours before I go overseas, so I'm not going to have a chance to reshoot it so it doesn't look so pathetic. It's just going to have to go out as it is. So I see you guys in game. Should be exciting. Okay, so here we are in game. Let's get started. I'm a little bit nervous, but hopefully it's won't end too badly. Cross it out while it goes, just to make it a little bit quicker. I fucking despise the M4A1S Nitro, by the way. Its status as a rip skin makes me... Okay, we're off to a good start. Okay, it's a factory new Orc Pink DD Pat. That is pretty good. That is a nice little buffer for the inevitable losses that we're probably about to start suffering. If I could just get 1 more good skin, I'd be happy. Although I probably need 3 to make it profitable overall. So we'll see how we go. These across there. So I'm very, very innovative, taking advantage of both of those things. Let's probably be an M4S Nitro. Okay, Road Rash, we're not doing too badly here. Thing is though, those still are sort of the worst two. I'm just gonna check the float on that. It's a little bit weird. Okay, no, I think we're good. Just making sure I don't get the skins mixed up. Okay. There we go, our first M4 had to happen at some point. Let's keep going, hopefully I can get... I'd love a Chalice. Chalice would be really great. My luck though will be all Nitros from here on in. Okay, another Road Rash. Doing pretty good. Much rather the Cobblestone skins though, to be honest. This is my last one of these before we move on to the Gods and Monsters ones, which are what really matter at the end of the day. So hopefully... Damn it, I suck at crossing this out. That's a Nitro. Yep. So I've gotten so many of these Nitros in the past, I know how long it takes for the letters to type out, so... It's like a sixth sense that you get after doing lots of trade-ups. But anyway, these are the ones that really matter. I think because I've got that pink DD pat, I should have quite a bit of a buffer. Like, I can't really lose that much money, but hopefully I'll get something good here rather than a bunch of Nitros. That's a Nitro. Okay, 2 more to go. Clenching at the moment. Really want a fucking Icarus fell. Or just a Chrono. Either of those, I'll be really happy if I get one. It's probably not going to happen. Oh, no, that's good, that's good, that's good. There's a fucking Icarus fell. Fuck yes. Okay, I'm really happy right now. 000 float too. I don't think you actually get tons of overpay on that, because it is easy to get them in really low float conditions, but you'll still get some, and it's still a massive profit. I mean, that skin is still worth quite a bit. Well, the Cronus's, I think you actually will get quite a bit of overpay. Though it will still be worth less than an Icarus Fell, because the Cronus's are used for trade-ups for Poseidons. There's no reason to buy a low float Kronos for more than a Icarus. Oh, that's another... Okay. That's it. Never need to trade up again. Set for the rest of my life. Right, that is really sweet. So that's my guide to getting low float operation skins. I realise it is a bit more complicated than some of the past videos I've done, so if you're a bit confused, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message and I'm happy to help. I really appreciate all the views I've been getting recently. It means a lot to me, so thanks for watching to everyone who's been watching. Anyway, trust the numbers, not your gut. I'm Heyzeus. See ya.